everyone. So glad you're able to join me today. My name is Pamela. I am located in Northern Ontario, Canada. And this is a podcast primarily about knitting and crochet. Although I may talk about some of the other things I'm into from time to time. Anything that I do talk about in the podcast will be linked down below in the show notes if you're looking for more information. So first of all, I hope that you are comfortable. I really want you to get cozy, and I hope you have either a nice hot beverage of perhaps coffee or tea, or if it's a bright sunny day where you are, maybe you have something more refreshing to have today. Either way, I hope you have a nice beverage and we can get cozy together and discuss knitting and crocheting. So, usually for knitting and crocheting podcasts, people talk about their finished objects first, of which I have none. So since the last recording of this podcast, I have completed 0 objects, but I have a good reason, or I think I have a good reason why I have no objects. So since the last time I talked to you, I casted on this flax sweater. It is, so I don't know if you can see it. I will hold it up just in case. So this is a flax sweater. It's a free pattern by Tin Can Knits for my husband, who is very knit worthy. I have been knitting only on this. I have not wanted to pick up anything else. I'm enjoying it so much. This is, I talked about it last time, but this is, this wool is from the Georgian Bay Fiber Company, which is a company here in Northern Ontario. The yarn is a rustic type of yarn. It is 100% untreated Canadian wool. It's in the colorway Wabuna Gale, and it's a worsted weight yarn. So when I knit the gauge swatch, as a good doobie should, I did not get gauge with the suggested needle size and this yarn. So I knit another gauge swatch, and I still didn't get gauge. I was still way too big. So I ended up going down 2 full needle sizes, and I also went down a sweater size because otherwise my sweater would have been giant. So that's a big change, and I don't feel 100% confident about like going down 2 needle sizes and a sweater size. However, the section that I did, or at least the top part, I did try it on my husband and it seemed to fit pretty well. So I'm gonna stick with this and just keep going. I went with option 2 of the pattern, which is to not knit the ribbing around the neck first, to start just with the yoke and add the neck ribbing on later, and that is supposed to make the sweater a little bit more sturdy and stable. So I decided to go with that option, even though I'm a beginner, and it probably would have been easier for me to start with the neck section and just work my way down. I opted to try something else. So I'm going with option 2. This sweater is being knit for the other guy, Cal, the other guy knit along, which is hosted by Christopher and Jamie from Cabin Boy Knits. There's a bunch of us all knitting the same sweater, and it makes me feel a lot more comfortable that I am not the only one doing this. Now, mind you, this pattern has been knit thousands of times by people all over the world. It's an extremely popular pattern. I have made a few errors on it, but opted to keep going as I didn't think the errors were significant enough to rip the sweater out and start over. There are 2 really great tutorials about how to knit this sweater step by step on YouTube, so I'll link them down below. I'm using both of those to make sure I'm doing it properly. I definitely can't blame any of my mistakes on the pattern or the tutorials, because the pattern and the tutorials are excellent. It was more a case of me not paying attention to what I was doing. So, lesson learned. I hope that I won't do that in the future. One thing that every time I work on a project, I like to keep track of the things that I'm learning as I go. And one of the things that I have learned while knitting this sweater is how to alternate skeins in the round without being able to see it whatsoever. So I'm not slipping stitches. I'm going to link the tutorial that I used down below for how to alternate skeins in the round without having any little changes in tension or holes or anything like that. Probably none of you would ever have that issue, but since I tend to find when I'm changing skeins I have holes and that sort of thing, I was looking for something easy and error proof. So I actually think I found it. So it's the Magic Method for Alternating Skeins by S. Diva Designs. It's super easy. It really just involves moving the yarn back and forth as you come to each round, and I find it's been working great. This yarn has is a hand-dyed yarn, so it has many different tonal variations, and I would hate to have a very noticeable contrast where I started one skein or ended one skein and started another. So I am very happy to have found this method of changing skeins and making sure that I have no weird color pooling. I'm really loving the way the tonal variations are changing and adjusting. I find it really beautiful, and the yarn is so rustic. I just feel like it's gonna be so wonderful and warm. So if he's not gonna wear it, I'm gonna wear it. Although I think he'll wear it, but so I'll put that aside. So that is my work in progress and the reason why I have no finished objects. I'm having my coffee today in my Ray Dunn mug. It says hello. I really like the Ray Dunn mugs, and I have several of them. So moving on to acquisitions. I received an order that I submitted to Rose Hill Yarns. It's a Canadian company. I looked up her contact information on her website, and her name is Robin, and her family, she and her family live in northern Alberta. So always happy to support a Canadian company, but it was really an easy decision because her colorways are so interesting that I just couldn't resist ordering a few. Even though I had no plans, I thought I would go for it anyways. So this set is called Tide Water. It has a half a skein and a mini skein of, so this larger one is still, it's a half a skein. So it's 50 grams or 231 yards. And the mini skein is 20 grams or 92 yards, and it's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. I liked the idea of ordering a smaller amount because my intention is to knit shorty socks with this yarn. So I don't like to have leftover yarn after I finish a project. So I'm quite happy with this. The colors are beautiful. I hope you can see them. Moving on to another half skein set. This one is called Snow Melt. So I'll just hold it up so you can see. It is another half a skein, so 50 grams. And again, it's a 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. And my plan is to knit shorty socks. I also ordered this other mini skein, fingering weight, 20 grams. This one is called Honey Whiskey, and I really loved the rich color of it. And I thought that looked really nice together. I could tell right on the website that those colors would go together in case I wanted to take the gray out and substitute the Honey Whiskey. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do. As well, I also ordered this clover set. Again, it's a fingering weight, it's a sock set. But this time it's a full skein, so 100 grams and a mini skein. And again, I thought, I don't know if you can see that there are specks of this honey color in this large skein, but I thought that looked good together too. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but that gives me the option of maybe doing 2 shorty socks. A lot of talk about socks from a girl who has not yet finished a pair of socks, but my intentions are good and I love the colors. This is another full skein set. I think it was from the Christmas collection. It's called Holiday Peppermint, but I just love the non-traditional colors for Christmas. I really love this light greeny teal color and the pink and red together with the speckles of teal. To me, that's just absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to knit some Christmassy socks with that. Exciting. Once I really get working on knitting socks, I hope I get as excited about it as other knitters seem to be. What else? Well, first of all, I'm about to pick up some crinkly plastic, which I know some people don't like, but I didn't want to take all of these sets out of the plastic because they're so nicely, they're together. So I'm just going to show you, actually, let me show you the 3 colors. Then I'll explain what it is. So this is a Kirkmichael mitten yarn pack. It's from Galt House of Yarn, and the pattern is available to download on Ravelry. And what it is are some color work mittens, and the colors are, the yarn is Zen Yarn Garden Superfine DK in Guacamole, Cascade 220 Superwash Sport, Amano Amy for the liner in Quartz Gray. So I don't know if you can see a picture of the mittens on the front of the package. I can always insert a picture. But the way these work is that you knit the mittens, the colorwork mittens, and it also gives you the gray for the liner so that they can be a double-walled mitten. So you knit your liner and then you push it inside, and then you have a nice thick warm mitten, which is something that one needs in Canada and other places around the world too, but definitely where I live, thick warm mittens are important. No mittens for show here. They have to be usable. Now when I went on the website, I was only planning on ordering one of these. I thought they were really nice. They actually came up in my Facebook feed and I thought they were just beautiful. So I wanted to order a kit, but oh my God, you guys, the colors blew me away. So I ended up ordering 3 kits. I'll show you this one next. Oh my God, you guys, the colors. I don't know if you can see that, but that blue is like a dark midnight blue. It's so pretty. I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna take it out because it's just so nice. It's so soft. Oh my God, you guys, it's so soft. Okay. Oh, and it even looks nicer. You can see like some tonal variations and it looks, there's some teal. I hope you can see that. It's just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And then I have to say this one's my favorite. I'll show it to you first in the package. So there are the 3 colors. But look at this red. It's called Black Cherry and it's a true black cherry. Actually, what is this blue one called? This blue one that I showed you first is called Mystic Ocean. 100% superfine, superwash merino. And this one again is called Black Cherry. It's so nice. It's just beautiful. It's so soft. Oh, I love it. I ordered 3 kits, so I'm hoping to be able to give some mittens away as Christmas gifts. But of course, I will not do that unless they are worthy of being given away. I don't want to give anybody anything that has a shoddy appearance. So I'm gonna have to work really hard. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to take out this green one. Look at that. I have to say that green has a golden undertone that almost glows. Like it's glowing right now. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. And again, that's from Galt House of Yarn. And no matter how much I rave about any of the products, I do not have any sponsorships. Nobody has given me anything for free and nobody has sent me anything to try. Everything that I show you is all things that I've paid for. All right. So those are exciting. I don't know when I'm gonna start these socks and I don't know when I'm gonna start these mittens, although I think the mittens would be good to work on over the summer because they're small. So you don't have like a big shawl or a big sweater sitting in your lap. However, I have fallen in love with that flax sweater and I think I would like to knit a second one for myself. Maybe I'll take a break, try and learn how to do the color work mittens, see how that goes, and then cast on maybe another flax in the fall because I'm really enjoying it. It's just so relaxing. It's just so meditative. I can attend work meetings and that sort of thing, and I can knit, listen, take notes, knit some more. It's fabulous. And it keeps me very relaxed and de-stressed. That's what I'm finding. So let's talk about what I am reading. So I have a couple books beside me. Actually, maybe I'll start with the knitting book. So I ordered this knitting book online. It's called Cast On, Bind Off. I had to look at it. And it's by Leslie Ann Bestor. 54 step-by-step methods. Find the perfect start and finish for every knitting project. And it's very much a reference book, and it's got step-by-step instructions for casting on and binding off in 54 different methods. And it's got 33 cast-ons and 21 bind-offs. And it's got color work, provisional cast-ons, color work cast-ons, ribbon cast-ons, everything that I've ever heard anybody speak about or that I've ever seen in patterns is in here. So I think it'll make a nice reference book. It's not a big book, it's a very nice small book to fit on my bookshelf, and I'm sure I will use that in the future. Yeah, clear close-up photos of the front, back, and edge of every single cast on and bind off. And it does look really good. So I'm very happy with that purchase. It wasn't expensive. As I said, I bought that online, and I think it's great. For my book club, I finished the book 7 Lies. It's by Elizabeth Kay. This is a very unusual book. I would say it falls in the suspense arena, which is a genre that I do enjoy a lot. But it's not your typical suspense thriller that I found. The main character is very well developed, and you get a real sense of how she thinks. It's not always clear whether she is a reliable narrator, because the main character is the narrator of the story. It's not always clear if she's a reliable narrator, because some of what the other characters say and do make you think maybe this story is not exactly what she's saying. However, one thing I absolutely enjoyed about this book is I really didn't know where it was going. So the story progresses, and in each part of the story she explains how it came that she told a particular lie and how it impacts her future and the future of those around her. It's interesting. If you choose to pick it up, it's definitely not going to be like other books that you've read, and I, for one, really appreciate that. I do consider myself a reader. I read quite a bit, and sometimes when you read the same formulas over and over again, it can seem a little repetitive or predictable. But this book I did not find was predictable, so I recommend it. What am I watching? So lately what I've been watching is The Great British Sewing Bee Season 7. I think I mentioned in the previous podcast that I love British TV and movies. Actually, I like TV and movies also from Ireland, Scotland, the Netherlands. You know, I'll watch Swedish TV with subtitles on Netflix, but British TV probably is my favorite. The Great British Sewing Bee, if you have not seen that, I'm not a sewer. I've sewn things in the past with help from other people. I've done a little bit of quilting many years ago, but I'm definitely not a sewer, although I feel like that is something I might like to try. It's very much in the style of the Great British Bake Off, I think it's called, which is a favorite amongst many people. It's the contestants are very humble. They're not braggarts at all. They really come to learn and do their best and make friends, and it's got that really cozy hygge feeling to it that I find the Great British Bake Off has, and one of the reasons why I like to watch that. Of course, instead of baking, they're producing sewing projects, and it is a competition, so each week somebody is eliminated. This is season 7. I think there's been 5 episodes released so far. I have watched all of the seasons. Last year I binged season 1 through 6. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Loved all the contestants. And though, just if you're wondering how I'm watching it, I watch it on the Royal Box app. So that is an app that you can download to your phone. And then I just cast it to my smart TV and watch it on the bigger screen. So it's available to anyone. I think I paid a small fee for Royal Box app when I first downloaded it. I believe it was $13.99 Canadian to download it, but the amount of British TV that I have watched through Royal Box, and again, I'm not affiliated with Royal Box in any way, but I do find it's a really good app for watching a lot of the British programming that I like to watch. Yes. So lately, what is floating my boat? So this is the section where I like to talk about what is bringing me joy and happiness lately. And there are a lot of things bringing me joy and happiness lately. You know, I was able to get my first vaccine, as was my husband. A lot of my friends and family members have now either received the vaccine or will be receiving it very shortly. I received the Moderna vaccine. My husband got the Pfizer vaccine. You know, I think it's to be expected. I did feel ill for a few days after I received the vaccine, but honestly didn't mind going through that, knowing that the vaccine and the response I was having was increasing my immunity to COVID. My husband didn't, he had a sore arm. He received the Pfizer vaccine. He had a sore arm, but nothing beyond that at all. So that type of thing's making me happy. Spring is in the air. The leaves are coming out on the trees. I know in many other parts of the world, especially south of me, the leaves have been on the trees for quite a while, but they are honestly just coming out in my part of the world. And we're having an early spring this year. The snow melted very early for us, but I for one am really appreciating it. And I was able to go, even though we are still on lockdown in Ontario and will be until June 2nd. One of the things that you can do in a controlled manner is go to a greenhouse that's outside, or just in a greenhouse structure, and purchase you know, your plants, your annuals, your perennials, and I did do that. You have to wear a mask and you have to social distance, and there's only so many customers allowed to go into the greenhouse at any one time. I really, this year, I love going to greenhouses. It's one of my springtime rituals that I enjoy so much. But I have to say that this year, you know, although it was not enjoyable, I felt grateful that I was able to go and do it. And the reason I say it wasn't enjoyable was just that I couldn't browse, I couldn't take my time, I couldn't meander through the plants. I like to take pictures and do that sort of thing, and it's a whole experience for me. This year, I made my list, I decided what I wanted, and I just went through and picked up those items, put them on my cart, made my way through the greenhouse. I've gone only to 2 greenhouses. The trips were short, and I was in and out. But again, I'm just happy to have my plants. For the first couple weeks I had them, I did have to bring them in and out every day as we were getting frost every night. So I was bringing them in and out of my kitchen. They were filling up my kitchen and my garage. But now it looks like the nighttime weather is going to be pretty steadily and significantly above 0. So I'm super happy that I am able to just leave my plants outside, my little seedlings. So I'm just taking care of them. And right now my husband has gone to do curbside pickup for some potting soil. And then over the next few weeks, I will be filling up my window boxes and filling up my planters with soil and my little seedlings. And this year they're going to be super color coordinated because I just picked up the trays. I picked up trays of certain things in the color scheme that I wanted, rather than picking this and that, because again, I wanted to minimize my time in the greenhouse so that other people could visit as well. So that's a couple of the things that I've been up to lately. A few of the things. Another thing that I've been up to is I did buy a secondhand antique secretary desk. It was a little beat up, but it was very inexpensive. I located it on Facebook Marketplace, made a quick trip, picked up the desk, and I've been painting it with fusion paint in a beautiful green color, and maybe I can insert some pictures here so that you can see what I've been up to. But back to what is floating my boat. So something that's floating my boat for this podcast, or what I want to talk about, is something actually quite small, but is bringing me a lot of joy, and that is well, it's funny because it's called a color changing wind chime, and it's solar powered. I've hung it up outside from my gazebo in the backyard, and I have to say, in the wind chime department, it's a complete fail. There is no chiming going on. Maybe that's for the best. I might possibly get irritated by wind chimes. I'm not sure. I don't have any. But the color changing part is just beautiful. So it's solar powered. It charges all day while it sits in the sun. And then as nighttime falls, which here is, it gets fairly dark by 9 o'clock. Still, it won't be sunny out till 10 o'clock, till later in June. So around 9 o'clock, it gets dark enough that the lights turn on, and they slowly change color, fading in and out. It just brings me a lot of joy. I just love looking at it, so much so that I have ordered a second set of solar powered color changing wind chimes. They're just from Amazon. They went on sale again, and I decided to order a second one, and I'm going to hang it outside my kitchen window in the tree, so that I can enjoy it twice as much. So that's what's been floating my boat. One thing I wanted to talk about, because I really want to talk about, and maybe every week mention some podcasts that I enjoy watching, because they give me so much inspiration. The people that are sitting down and just, with others, whether it's their significant other or whether it's their sisters or friends, and they're discussing their knitting, and they're so happy to, share it all with us, or with me, is what it feels like to me. It just brings me a lot of joy, and it brings me a sense of connection in this particular time when, some of us feel very disconnected because of what is happening, and particularly in Ontario, we're not getting together yet. We're still under lockdown. So I just want to do a shout out and show some love to some of the other podcasts that I've been watching. The one I would like to bring up this time is Cozy Up Knits. It's an amazing podcast. 4 sisters from Grand Prairie, Alberta. They record their podcast in their kitchen, and it's a super Canadian podcast, from the variations in weather to the kids running around, needing their attention occasionally, the dogs barking in the background, mom, gran, their aunt in the background making coffee and getting snacks. Like, there is so much family love in that podcast. I would watch it even if they were not talking about knitting. I would watch it probably if they were talking about anything, because I just love the way they bring each other cupcakes on their birthday, and like all these little things, or they have little surprises for each other. And if you haven't watched that one, I'm probably not sharing anything new with you, because I think a lot of people already do watch it. But if you haven't watched that one, I highly recommend you settle in with your cup of coffee and watch it. They're not very long and they're super enjoyable. Absolutely lovely, honestly. So before I sign off, I did want to leave you with a few thoughts. A couple things, or some things that I have been thinking about. Knitting and crochet do not get the respect they deserve as a female-dominated field of interest. The skills have been passed down from mother to daughter, but one's ability to make something beautiful and useful from a long thread and 2 sticks is nothing short of miraculous. It's on par with making a beautiful and useful piece of furniture from some wood and hand tools. And not to diminish the input from many male knitters, very skilled knitters and crocheters. It's just the history of it. I believe the skills were passed down from mother to daughter. The love and care and craftsmanship that go into each piece produce a work of art. I'm a maker, I'm an artist, and each project that I take on, I approach with passion and commitment to creating something that matches my vision for that piece. The process of choosing my tools and my raw materials is just as important as the act of creation. Is it any wonder that so many knitters, crocheters, and fiber artists joke about how large their stash is? That process of seeing something beautiful, whether it's a beautiful skein of yarn, a lovely pattern, a fresh box of pastels, and a clean blank piece of paper, a new package of clay and some new glazes. I can assure you that it's not just knitters and crocheters who feel compelled to acquire all the raw materials for future artistic projects. I feel that calling knitting and crocheting hobbies diminishes the craftsmanship that is required to create each beautiful piece. When we see the projects created by Stephen West or Alice Starmore, is there any doubt in our minds that these 2 people are creative geniuses? Their minds operate on a level beyond us mere mortals, but what a joy to take the patterns they create, choose our own colors and raw materials, and build on what they have created to make something new and something unique. And all of those things are what bring me joy when I'm knitting and crocheting. So thanks for visiting with me. I'm glad you were able to spend a little bit of time. Thank you. Bye now.